Welcome to this video. So another game with white. I think I choose random colors, but okay, I don't know why, but I have white all the time. So let's play it the same way like before, the Italian game, and knight f6 again. So knight g5 is a normal theory, but you know, it worked well, so I tried again. d3. It's a bit passive, maybe. And I should look up the theory, I guess, to improve my play here. Okay, so now he's thinking. Maybe he plays bishop c5, which seems to be a normal move here. So what's the deal? I cannot play knight e5 now. Why not? Because of d5. Okay, so let's say knight e5, d5. I take with the bishop. He takes with the knight, takes with the queen. I retreat. He can play bishop g4. I play knight d2. Everything is protected. I'm a pawn ahead. Maybe I fall into a silly trap with knight e5. But I don't see it at the moment. And I think a pawn is a pawn. Normally, I mean, I'm not a pawn grabber in the opening, but I don't see any kind of compensation here for black. So show it to me. I mean, he needs to do something against knight f7 or bishop f7 even. And yeah, and I think if I castle short now, I have the time to castle short, everything is fine. The knight on a5 doesn't make a good impression, so yeah, d5 as expected. The question is just if I take with the knight or with the bishop or with the pawn. I might even, I mean, I thought first to play with the bishop, but taking with the pawn might be even more interesting. If I take, he takes here. I can take with the pawn. Okay, if he takes with the knight, I play queen e2 and threatening knight c6, check, winning the queen. I do this. Knight to d5, queen f3, attacking d5, attacking f7. Okay, he might play bishop e6 then, and this covers everything, I guess. Still queen e2 maybe? Okay, queen f3, bishop e6, right? What about knight f7 taking here. If he takes, queen f3, attacking the knight, attacking the king, king e6, queen e4 check, queen e6. This looks good, but after knight f7 he has queen e7 check. This is not good. So what about, I mean, if I play queen e2, he plays bishop e7 and nothing happens. So I castle short. And now I can do the same thing again. So knight f7 and he doesn't have queen e7 check. And I think it wins. So if he plays something silly like a6 or b6, I just take on f7. Can I take on f7 here? No. Here he has a problem that he also loses the rook now, because he needs to retreat the knight. And afterwards I take on d8, he takes back with the king, knight f7, check, and forking the rook, so game over. Yeah, this was a quick one. Okay, maybe he can play queen f6 here. No, he can't, because I take with the queen on d5, protecting my knight. Take. Okay, so I like this move, because after taking on d8 and playing knight f7 check, I win the rook on h8, true, but he can play knight c2 and winning my rook on a1. So what I can do here is maybe playing queen f3. Queen f3, threatening f7 mate. And then something like knight a3 maybe even, and then rook e1. Yeah, or not. I mean, after queen f3, bishop e6, I might play rook d1 also. Rook e1 is an option. I might even consider sacrificing the rook here. Yeah, the queen doesn't have too many squares now. Rook e1, knight c2, taking here on f7. Okay, what else? I don't like queen b7. It's not worth it. Knight f7 immediately, he takes back with the bishop, rook e1 check. This is all too slow. Or let's say rook, okay, knight f7, bishop f7, rook e1 check. Plays bishop e7, bishop g5, knight c6. And then what do I play then? Or just develop, play knight a3, bishop f4 maybe, and then rook d1. I think I do this. I mean, I'm a pawn up. Then I'm better developed. And I have a nice attack also. So now I think I can even play c3. But I rather prefer to play, I think, bishop f4. Protecting my knight on e5, developing my bishop on c1, and then I'm threatening rook d1. And I want to play rook a d1, not rook f d1. The other rook might go to e1. So I have both rooks on the open files, which is really, really strong. Yeah. So I guess bishop d6 now. But after bishop d6, I might return to the plan with knight f7. Or, rook e1, but he can play king f8 then. So knight f7, bishop f7, rook e1, king f8. Bishop f4. It's maybe the easiest way. Just playing bishop f4. Then rook a d1, and I threaten c5, and I would win a piece. So I think he castles now, and then he needs to take care. Rook a d1. So my setup I want to achieve is rook a d1, rook f e1, maybe c3, knight b5, knight d4. So I have nice central control. Maybe I can play b3 also to protect my pawn on c4. Yeah, this move is maybe nice. Maybe. What about queen b7 now? Queen b7. Why just play rook e1? But then maybe g5. But after g5, I think I really play queen b7. And then I play queen g3 afterwards. So rook e1. Rook e1 and c5 is also an option. c3. It's maybe also an idea. Yeah, I like this move. But what now? I want to improve the position of my knight on a3. But if you play c3 now, knight c6 might be very good. Although I don't take on c6, I just play queen g3 maybe. And then we have a lot of attacks on exchanges on e5, which is good for me. So I think c3. Well, maybe I played it too quick, because after knight c6, queen g3, he might take on a3, and this looks really terrible here. So what about knight to c6? And if he takes on f4, I play knight d4. Okay, what about if he just takes here back with the pawn? Then this looks all strange. So now I'm considering, you know, the position knight takes c6, he takes back with the pawn. And if I then take here on d6, he just takes on f3, I take back. He takes back. And I have a ugly looking double pawn here on this file. Wow. What else? Okay, I mean, my first idea was queen g3. He can play knight, rook, not rook, not knight, bishop a3. This is the move I don't like at all. Okay, so maybe I need to play this knight c6 move anyway. Knight c6. Okay. Thing is, he doesn't need to take on f4. He can just take play bc6. But then I played bishop d6, yeah. Queen f3, gf3, cd6. Yeah, and then maybe b3. I'm just saying, hey, I'm a pawn up, so show me that you can hold a draw with a pawn down. This is maybe the idea here. So yeah, I need to take on d6, otherwise he takes on a3 and my position looks really, really, really bad. Or yeah, so he needs to take on f3 now first. If he takes on d6, it would be terrible play, because then I take on f6 and he has a double pawn on the f file. Yeah, this was right. Okay, so here we go. And this was the situation I was talking about. So I'm a pawn ahead, but my pawns on the king side look ugly. But what I want to do now is, you know, to try to attack him here on the d file. Maybe I should have played king g2 first. Maybe play it now. Yeah, the bishop doesn't have that many squares, so but bishop f5. And what can my knight do here? It's funny. Okay, so let's bring over the knight as quick as possible via c2 to d4 or b4. And what I also can do is playing rook e3 and rook a e1. Both look good. What else? Rook a d1 to attack d6 immediately is also an option. If he plays bishop f5, I can play rook e3, I think, without any problems. If he ever takes here, I just take back, which is really good for me. So okay, here I take the opportunity to reroute my right knight to d4. And now I'm in extremely good shape. Knight d4 would be very strong, so he avoids this, but now knight d5 is strong. I can a4. Is it really a threat if he plays a4 takes? No. I wonder if I should put the a or e rook on d1. Well, I think I stay flexible, and I mean the knight belongs to d5, or at least put pressure on d5. So I think next move, rook d1. Or f4, f5. So I try to provoke the move f7, f5, or f7, f6, you know, just weakening here the squares around his king a bit. And then I guess I will try to put pressure on this square here on d6. Okay, taking here. Maybe rook to b8 now. That's a good move. But anyway, I have a lot of play on the queen side now, so I want to push for b4, b5 very soon. And d6 is a weakness as well. I'm threatening f5, which I think is maybe a good move. I think this was not good. I mean, now I have the a file, and does he want to play rook b8, or what's the idea? Now the question is if I should play rook b1 or rook a3. I mean, rook b1 immediately supports the pawn, so I can play b4, b5 maybe. On the other hand, I really like to have the open a file. It's the only open file here despite the e file, and I can enter here. So maybe rook a3 and then I walk to c2 with my king. I have time, right? On the other hand, no, I think it's good. I mean, I can do everything later on, so sooner or later I will play b4. And the bishop doesn't have that many squares here, so maybe he wants to play bishop d7, c6 later on. I can always jump to d5 if I like. But even on c6, the bishop, you know, just looks into the thin air here. What I can also try is playing king d5 and king d6. So the threat is now f5, king d5. Maybe rook a7 also works, right? Rook a7 now. Bishop d7. Knight f5. The question is if I should play f5, because then I also cannot enter that easy. 5, knight d5, but then b4 might be strong. I think I like this move here. Although maybe he can play rook b7 later on. Okay, yeah. And here rook b7. Or should I take with the pawn? No, I want an active king. But if he plays rook b7, I can play king c6. So this looks really active now. Maybe I have time to play f5 also first. I don't want him to play king e6 later on, maybe. Okay, I think this is really a bad move, I guess, because now he cannot even play g6 anymore. So now king c6 or rook a7, both are good. Rook a7, king f8, I play king e6 maybe. Okay, here I can start to run with the pawn. He takes here, but my pawns are very, very quick. You know, I just start to running with my pawns now. because he can win some pawns here on the queen side as well, so I want to be very, very quick. Rook a7 first. Maybe f4. He can pick up the pawn on f5 anyway. I mean, if he wants to take the pawn, I play f5, take, and this pawn is so fast. Okay, I want to march with the pawn on b5, so this will become the hero of the day now. And rook a8 and b8 promoting. All right. Okay, thanks for watching.